called me up last week. He had been talking to several students and reached out to me and said, hey, these kids, they really need to get it out. So I'm so happy to see how many people have showed up.
Flow with inner peace. Whatever pain we bring to this gathering, it is pain we share. Even as we struggle to rebuild our lives, we reach out to one another in love. We will share joy as well as pain. We will share peace of mind as well as anger. We will share faith as well as doubt. We will help one another grow as well as grieve. We are not alone. So I look out and see all the people who have come here together, and it warms my heart. And I just want everybody to know, to look around and know that you are not alone. That everybody here is here together. And I know for the families who are grieving, as time goes on and the dust settles, and I know it's far from settling, but when the dust settles,
I just wanted to say that, I knew both of them for a very long time, and they were absolutely the most interesting characters I think I could have ever met. They were funny. Hayden, he was just crazy. Wrestled with him for years, and he was always talking to everyone, nice to every single person. Every time I was around Nick, he was always laughing with someone or telling someone some crazy story that, just the weirdest things. He had a doll when we worked zombies that he would just carry around. He named it Regina, like a little kid, and carry it around everywhere. I also wanted to say that though they may be gone, the most important thing is that they are always part of us. They've taught us things. They've added to our character, and as long as we can remember that they are part of our character, I am happy to say that Hayden and Nick have both taught me to be nice to every person, and that Nick taught me to always try to keep people smiling, and that Hayden taught me to always work hard and do your best, and everything will work out.
Anybody ready to come and speak?
Hi, my name is Kira. I prepared a little something. Nikki, the closest cousin I'll ever know. I'm not gonna lie, growing up we weren't the best of friends. Oh, did he get on my nerves? Like only family can. But as we matured, there's no doubt he became the person I always looked forward to spending my time in our family parties with. He was so bright. We got along as if we were friends and not just family. Nick was the only family member that knew all of my secrets. I trust them with my life. We both knew he could quite literally blackmail me at any point he wanted to. And I knew I could do the same. But our bond was too strong to ever risk by tattling on each other. I loved him as my brother, my best friend, my relative. We've had each other's backs from day one. He was the only one that never failed to check up on me when I was at a low, and we'd rant and complain and just discuss how our lives have been keeping up with us. From what we talk about, never did I ever think something like this would happen, but from what I realize now, he was selfless. He put others first. On his final night, he reached out to me, along with many, many others, and asked them if they'd simply had anything to vent about. I said I was doing well, and thanked him, then asked if there was anything he needed to get off his chest. He claimed he was okay, and I responded with a short and sweet, I'm always here for you if you need anything. We exchanged our I love yous, and that was it. That was the last time I'll ever hear from him. A lot of times I ask myself, why did he lie to me? Why didn't he tell me he wasn't okay? The only logical answer to that is He was solely just selfless. And that's how he needs to be remembered. Not just as the guy that made the mistakes of leaving us too soon. Nick reached out to make sure that the people he was closest to weren't struggling. Maybe he thought his work on God's given earth was done because his loved one seemed to be at a stable state of mind. But it wasn't. His work was not done. Mickey deserved a long life of fun-filled memories just like the rest of us. Moral of the story is, don't forget to check up on your friends and family. Everyone goes through hardships in life, and suicide is a real thing. Don't joke about it. Remember that just because you're happy doesn't mean that friend who is going through a breakup, or their parents are divorcing, or even just struggles with mental illness is as happy as you are. Study the signs of suicide. Become aware. It's a strength in life we all need to pick up on to prevent situations like this, to prevent the hurt that comes with a loss.
And I'm going to try and do it without crying. It's called When Tomorrow Starts Without Me by David M. Romano. When tomorrow starts without me, and I'm not here to see, if the sun should rise and find your eyes are filled with tears for me, I wish so much you wouldn't cry the way you did today, while thinking of the many things we didn't get to say. I know how much you love me, as much as I love you, and each time you think of me, I know you'll miss me too. But when tomorrow starts without me, please try to understand that an angel came and called my name and took me by the hand and said my place was ready in heaven far above, and that I'd have to leave behind all those I dearly love. But when I walked through heaven's gate, I felt so much at home. When God looked down and smiled at me from his great golden throne. He said, "This is eternity and all I promised you. Today your life on earth is past, but here it starts anew. I promise no tomorrow, for today will always last. And since each day's the same way, there's no longing for the past. So when tomorrow starts without me, don't think we're apart. For every time you think of me, I'm right here in your heart." Before we move on, is there anybody else that has anything they want to come up and say? I know it's scary, I know it's hard, but if there's something on your heart that you want to say, please don't be afraid.
Hi, I'm Maddie. Thank you. I was blessed enough to know both Nick and Hayden very well. They were both so kind to me. They never ever failed to put a smile on my face. Nick was on my soccer team and he always brought joy to the field. He always cared about others and was so selfless. Hayden started going to my gym a little over a year ago. He was known as Gym Boy. Day by day, Hayden and I got closer and closer. Our favorite thing to do was arm wrestle, even though I let him win every time. It is truly a devastating and senseless loss to the community and their families. We live in such a crazy world, and a lot of us feel alone. We feel that there's no way out and that no one understands. But I promise you that people do understand. As a person that can relate to this topic very much, I know the feeling and I know it's very scary, but I'm really encouraging everyone to reach out to a friend, to a family member, to a trained professional, or most of you guys go to my school and I'm always here to talk. Some of you might not like me, but that's okay. I'm still here to talk. There are so many that do care about you. We all need to work together as a community to make this a better place. We need to speak kinder, love one another, and stop the bullying. And we need to do this in honor of Nick and Hayden. Thank you.
I'm Cole. I knew Nick really closely. I didn't really know Hayden, but from what I've heard of him, he was a really great person, and I did see him in the hallway a couple times. He's always smiling. I had a really close relationship with Nick. He was one of those kind of people that, like, as soon as you met him, you feel like you've known him forever. I knew him a couple years before I started talking to him. But I remember the first day we went to Fun for All together. It was the first day I started talking to him in person, and we immediately clicked. He was just really amazing and really funny. And he always was so thoughtful. He never did anything without thinking about it first. He was really intellectual and kind and really smart. He not only was always thinking about me, but my whole family. I remember during Christmas time last year, he bought my whole family Christmas presents. And I had only known him for a couple months then. He was really amazing. I can't think of anything else to say right now. I'm just really nervous. But yeah, he's just really great. And I never felt alone with him. Like, even when I wasn't, we would just be sitting in a room together, not even talking, just like being quiet and feeling emotions together. He was just like I just never felt alone. And I love him.
Meg. I didn't know either of them that well. I was never close with either of them, but I did know Nick on a few occasions. But this is more of just saying, please reach out. If you're ever feeling upset, please reach out. I know you feel like a burden, and I know it's scary, but you are not. You are okay. You're gonna make it through this. I promise you.
I'm Veronica. I didn't know Nick super well, but when you do think about him, there's one memory that comes to mind. That's when we were doing the blood drive at school, and he just came into the pottery classroom one day, and he was passing out the QR codes like they were candy. And you could just see that he was really invested and always interested in helping people. And just, even though it was a hard day going to school, the next day for both of them, you could just really see how many people actually cared about them, and I just wish they could see that now. And that's everything.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Okay. My name's Alex. I only met Nick this year, but as soon as I met him, like Cole said, I was instantly like his best friend. We were both very flamboyant in our personalities, and if you ever knew Nick, you would definitely agree with me. As someone who struggles with suicide, I just want to say, you aren't alone. I know everyone says that, but like as someone who is really close to Nick and someone who struggles with this kind of thing, it is totally okay if you're grieving and you're joking about it, or you're angry, or whatever you're feeling. It's totally okay. And I know a lot of you might not even know who I am, but that is totally okay. I'm always here to talk. I'm like the world's best therapist because I have the world's best therapist. And it's so sad because Nick was like the world's best therapist. You could talk to him and he would immediately just be like, oh my God, like come here, like give me a hug, I want to help you. So, you know, I just want to say that no matter how you're grieving right now, just know that it's okay and how you're feeling. Yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. I want to share a little quick story about Nick. I remember, if any of you knew Nick, you knew he would make like gum hearts for everybody. And on one of the first days that I met him, he made me a heart and he ripped it in half and gave half to my other friend and one to me. And then he took the other half and I have the little half of the heart in my phone, and I think about that all the time, that he's always in my heart. And I didn't really know anything about Hayden, but I bet that he's in your heart. And hey, even if you're not religious like me, it's not crazy to like talk to them. Like I talk to Nick, like I'll sit in my bed and I'll just be like, hey bud, I miss you, you know? Or I'll just crack little jokes, be like, hey, I bet I know what you're doing up there, you know? And also just one more thing. I know this might not be the place, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I feel like I need to. No one else really has the guts to do it. Football players in the crowd, if you are a bully, or if you know any one of your friends that is a bully, take accountability for your actions. Be nice to the people, because the words you say, even though you might not think it, the words that you say hurt people, they affect people. And a lot of the things that were said to Nick are absolutely disgusting. So just check yourself, please. Yeah. Sorry, I could feel everyone's emotions, like, right as, you know. But yeah, please just check yourself. Take a look at yourself in the mirror every day and be like, would I like to meet somebody like me? Because every one of us here would have loved to meet someone like Nick or someone like Hayden. Try and be like that. Try and be amazing like they were. That's it.
I've never done anything like this before, so I'm sorry if I'm a little nervous. It's a lot more anxiety-inducing being up here than it was back there. I can't say, I can't claim to know both of them super well, but I do know that I was getting a little bit closer to Nick recently, and he was always there when, he would notice things are wrong, even if you don't say it, and he was always there to talk. I know I was upset at 11:30 at night about my grades, and then I didn't even say anything, but he noticed and was like, you've been off recently, are you okay? I'm here to talk. And I felt like it was something really impressive, because even though we did only know each other from Boy Scouts and he hasn't been going recently, he reached out to someone like me and wanted to make sure that I was feeling okay and everything. And he was always trying to make everyone feel really comfortable. I remember I had to do, it was some poster thing for a school club, and I mentioned that I felt super uncomfortable because I knew no one there, and I was out in the senior high, and I'm small, and I'm not a tough person. I'm really sensitive and really emotional. And then I was I'm really nervous sitting here alone in the senior high. And then every time he passed through the hallway in the senior high, he would stop and come talk to me, and I'm pretty sure I made him late for half of his classes. And I really appreciate that he risked getting attendance off just to make sure that I felt comfortable in the hallways. And I know he was a really supportive person, and I really wish he could have seen how many people he affected in his life.
I'm going to say a few words about Regal. I didn't prepare anything because I didn't think I was going to speak until now, but I figured I should say something. When we were little kids, first grade, we lived across the street from each other, played baseball for multiple years. His dad was my coach. He was an amazing friend, an amazing athlete, one of the best people I've ever met. And I regret that I wasn't close to him after I moved, but he made my childhood a lot better. All our friends, when we lived in our townhouses, came together because of him. He just made everyone happy.
Oh, alright, there's actually a lot of people here. I didn't realize how many people there were. But, I knew Nick from Boy Scouts, and it was my first backpacking trip that I've ever been on. and this was the first time I met him. And we were on our way back to the cars, and there was this beautiful, beautiful scenery, and there was a rock just leading to it all. And on our way there were a bunch of people, but on our way back, he was sitting at the edge of that rock meditating. And I stopped with my friends, and I watched him because I was so sitting to talk to him, but I was thinking, and I said out loud, I love when people wave to me, because there were people on the trail that I was super excited, since I was really motivated to go on this backpacking trip, and I was like, I love when people wave to me, because I was just waving to random people on the trail. And I looked up at him because he was staring intently at me. He was like really staring at me, and I was like, okay. And he smiled. It was this really big, bright smile, and he waved. And I was happy the rest of that trip. It made my motivation so much higher. And he really inspired me to just do things. And he was always like checking up on people. It was in the craziest times too. It's like when I was like sad, like I'd be on the bus in the morning, and right over Seneca you'd see the sunset in the morning, and you'd be riding the bus into the school, and that's when I would get a text from him like, hey GB, are you alright? Like, how are you doing? And I'm like, he always did that. He was always checking up on people and making sure everyone was content, because he didn't want anyone to hurt. He didn't want anyone to hurt.
And that's when we really started getting close, and I feel bad we've drifted apart this past year, and I just kind of really regret that, but I'm glad I got to know him, and I'm here if anybody really needs me. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Does anybody else want to come up? Oh, great. Okay, good.
Hi. Never been good at public speaking, so I'm very sorry if my words get a little bit jumbled up. So, Nick was one of the most amazing, kind, sweetest people I've ever known. Every day, I thought of him, because he had such a big impact, positive impact on my life. I'll never forget him. I'll forever love him. And I know we all miss him. And I personally don't know Regal that much, but I know that he has family and friends out there that love and miss him right now, and wish that if he could just see all the overwhelming support, and it would be such a sight. And I wish Nick could be here right now to see all of this overwhelming support and love, and just know that he had so many people who cared for him and loved him even when he was going through dark times, right? So I have a little background. I actually met Nick through my best friend. And it was my freshman year at Seneca, and we were sitting in the library. It was a study hall, and my best friend goes, Grace, this is Nick. He's one of my really good friends. And I go, hi Nick. And we had nothing to do, so we started just guessing like words, like what the other was trying to say. And I don't know if many of you know this, but Nick had the hardest time saying Penelope. Oh my gosh, I would tease him all the time. Nick, say Penelope. Grace, you know I can't say that. Oh, come on, Nick. Come on. Penelope. Oh my gosh, but he's so sweet, and that's probably one of the best memories I have of him. I remember another time when I just felt uncomfortable in my clothing for the day. Hey Nick, don't feel so comfortable right now. Do you have like an extra hoodie? Grace, like, I'll just give you mine. Like, just the way he put others before himself and just thought of everyone and loved and cared for everyone unconditionally is just, I feel like, something that we can all really look up to be. I feel like we should all try and be as great as a person that Nick and I'm sure Regal was. And when we were in our freshman year, especially together, we would always say to each other, fifth period, because that's when we had study hall together. That was the best part of our days, and I will forever love and treasure my time and moments with us. I used to go to Seneca, now I go to Lincoln Park's Performing Arts Charter School. So unfortunately, I haven't been as involved with the Seneca community lately, and I have drifted apart from a lot of people there, including Nick. On Thanksgiving Day, he sent me a text message. Hey Grace, I'm so grateful for you. And I want you to know that. And I said, I'm so grateful for you too, and I'm always here for you. And I'm so happy that I have you in my life. He didn't respond after that. But knowing that he just loved everyone like that, not just his closest friends. He had that mindset about everyone. Everyone and anyone. Even people he walked past school, in the school hallways, because we all know Seneca's a very huge school. I almost got run over many times in that school. Everyone he would walk by, he would be so nice and caring towards everyone. And I think that's something that we can look up to and learn from. Just keep in mind that not everybody's always having their best day. It's not always a good day for everybody. In fact, a lot of people may be having bad day on top of bad day on top of bad day. And we should all be there for each other, no matter what. We should always be kind and considerate to others and think about what we say and what we do before we do it. And I want to leave you off with that note. Just please be kind. And if you're ever struggling, please reach out to someone. It does get better. Thank you.
Oh yeah, there really is a lot of people. I didn't really know Hayden that well, and I wasn't best friends with Nick, but Nick did just happen to be in my life the one day where I really needed him. Just so happened to be the day of the blood drive. I had missed the whole week before because I was just struggling with a lot myself, and I don't know how it happened. He's definitely like an angel on earth, because that day I was just really not doing okay at all, and I tried to hide it from all my friends because I felt like it was a burden to them. And right before the blood drive, I didn't even think about going to the blood drive, but I just felt the need to go that day. And before that, me and Nick were actually running around passing out those slips for the teachers because it was right before break, and me and him were doing that lead stuff together. And then we went to the blood drive together, and he just sat, and we didn't even donate blood that day. Like, we were waiting like for 3 periods straight together, and the whole time he just sat there talking to me. And I guess he didn't even like ask me, like, say like, are you okay? He just knew, and he just cheered me up the whole day, and he just made my day so much better. And it made me, I guess, rethink everything, because that day I didn't know how to feel with everything. I was struggling, but I feel like he saved my life that day, because if he didn't talk to me, I didn't know what I would do. and I don't know if I'd be here because he really helped me that day. But I didn't really know Hayden, but I've been friends with Maddie, and I'm really sorry to both families. I could never say that I know what you're going through, but I do feel for you, and I'm sorry, really am, for everybody that was close to either of them.
I'm Nate. Hayden was one of my best friends for a long time, since 4th grade. But one of the best things about Hayden is that for anybody that's friends with him, he was more than just a friend. You know, he was part of your family. And, you know, he'd come over to my house, and I don't even remember any time him asking, like, for example, like, to get food or something. He'd just go up and make it. You know, he made himself at home, that's for sure. And he was just able to talk to anybody. He was nice to everybody. But he always loved coming over, and we'd mess around, do whatever. One time he blew up an air mattress at my house, you know. But now, I mean, he'll always be here with us along with Nick. But now I have an excuse for losing things. I'll just be like, Hayden, where did you put it? Quit playing games with me, man. But yeah. So I never personally met Nick, but my dad coached his brother Christian, and I'm so dearly sorry for both families, and yeah. So.
I just wanted to say a few more things and share a couple stories of Nick now that I'm more comfortable. And yeah, based on what other people said, Nick was always someone that was always there for you, even if you weren't there for him. He would meet people. I mean, I'd be sitting in his room, like, waiting to go on a walk with him or something, and he'd just be sitting on his bed, like, hold on 1 second, I'm talking to this girl. And he'd just, like, meet people online randomly, and I think it really made him happy to make other people happy. So that's what he spent a lot of his time doing. He always made me feel comfortable. I remember being in school one day, and I had gym class, and my coach made us go down to the field house. We had to walk across the football field every day, and it was really annoying. And one day, it's really embarrassing, I got these massive sweat stains on my shirt, and I came into lunch with him. We had lunch every day together, and he immediately offered me his shirt. I mean, it was kind of rude of me now, but we both went to the bathroom and we switched shirts, and that just shows all the kindness that he had. He really didn't care what people thought about him. Anytime I felt uncomfortable in school, he'd always walk me into my classes too. He probably was late a lot, walking me. Every time in the morning, he'd always meet me in the morning when I got off my bus last year. He always found ways to be there whenever I was uncomfortable. I remember during a time last year, I was feeling really uncomfortable with the stuff that I was choosing to wear. I started to wear more feminine things so I could be more like myself, and I was feeling really uncomfortable. I was talking to him about it, and the next day he painted his nails and went to school to show support for me. And I just wish there were more people like that, that could have been there for him. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm Sam, and I met Hayden this year. Actually, I met him in a football game, and whenever I started talking to him, he was kind of one of those people that you just get along really well with. And the more I got to know him, the more I realized how he was just one of the funniest people I've ever met, and he was always so nice to me. And whenever I would be upset or just ever down, he would try to make me feel better just however he could. He would just FaceTime me, or he would just kind of take my mind off it, and I really thank him for that because he's helped me get through a lot of hard times. And one of my favorite memories of him is definitely at homecoming. And this year, because of COVID, it was outside. And it wasn't really that much fun because everyone was cold and just stuff like that. And I remember I was kind of just standing there and he came up to me and he just started dancing. And that was definitely just one of my best moments with him because I just always remember how nice he was to everyone. And he definitely taught me a lot of lessons about just how to treat people and how to live your life and just be carefree. And yeah.
Hi, I'm Megan. I have known Nick for a couple of years. We were really, really close back in middle school. We knew each other extremely well. We dated for around 4 months, and it was an amazing time. And it was just phenomenal getting to know him, getting to know his family. His family is some of the best people I've ever met. They're extremely nice, extremely caring, and I'm just happy to be a part of his life. And with Hayden, he was my next door neighbor for a while, and he used to come up to my house almost every summer, and he and my brothers and a bunch of our other neighbors used to play football together, and I used to cheer them on from the sidelines. But it was just amazing getting to know both of them, being a part of their lives, even if it was just for a short amount of time. And I just want to say to anyone who's hurting, just please reach out, please let someone know, because you're not alone. And I know like 5 people have already said this, but you're not alone. Reach out, get help, it gets better, and that's it.
Jon is an amazing musician, and he selflessly volunteered to share his equipment with us, and he's going to play a song for you right now. If your fingers aren't too cold, what do you think? It's pretty cold out here. We'll let him warm up for a second.
Jeff, putting this together. I hope it's okay for me to just say a couple things very quickly. First of all, how unbelievably inspired I am by all of you. I have nieces in your school. I have a nephew in your school. I believe in your generation wholeheartedly. I mean that. You guys can do things that generations before you just were unable to do. And it's shown here tonight. I hope you're proud of yourselves. I hope the parents are proud of you. You have every right to be proud of your children. I was a senior at Seneca Valley when I lost a friend to suicide for the first time. Unbeknownst to me, that would be the first of 3 in the early part of my life. And it's obviously not an easy thing. It's amazing that you've come out here to talk about it. There are resources available, just as everybody said. Not only do you have your friends or your parents or whomever might be the closest to you that you feel like you might be able to connect with, there are professional resources. I've been in therapy since I was 17 years old. I still go, I'm 18 years going. And it's been one of the greatest decisions that I ever made. We're gonna make sure that we post all of the resources available to you on the Facebook page. Parents, if you're available to share that with your kids, or any of you are online yourselves. So we'll make sure that we give that to you for Butler County, Allegheny County, whatever it is that you need. There are professionals that are out there to help you. So I hope that you'll do that if any of you are hurting. Appropriate song, it came on a couple weeks ago, and then just as Jeff asked me to kind of help out a little bit tonight, it just kind of popped into my head. It's called One More Light. It's by Linkin Park. Chester Bennington, the lead singer of Linkin Park, took his own life 2 months after the release of this song, which I think is kind of speaks to the volume of the song itself. So thanks for having me here to play it for you.
Should have stayed with the signs I ignored. Can I help you not to hurt anymore? At least I'm brilliant when things that we can have but can't keep. They say, who cares if one more light goes out in a sky of a million stars? It flickers, flickers. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we are, or quicker, quicker. Who cares if one more light goes out? I do. The reminders pull the floor from your feet. In the kitchen, one more chair than you need. Oh, when you're angry, and you should be, it's not fair. Just 'cause you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. If they say, who cares if one more light goes out in the sky of a million stars? It flickers, flickers. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we are, or quicker, quicker. Who cares if one more light goes out? Well, I do. Who cares if one more light goes out? The sky of a million stars, it flickers, flickers. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we are, or quicker, quicker. Who cares if one more light goes out? I do.
Of the sun and it's going down, we will remember them. In the opening of the buds and the rebirth in the spring, we will remember them. At the blueness in the skies and in the warmth of the summer, we will remember them. At the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of the autumn, we will remember them. At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we will remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we will remember them. As long as we live, they too shall live. For now they are part of us, and we will remember them. I just want to thank everybody for coming out. And I just want to remind you, I think Megan and Emmy have some lanterns. If anybody's interested, raise your hand where you are, Megan, Emmy. You have the lanterns. If anybody's interested in lighting a Chinese lantern, I think they're over there somewhere. So once again, thank you so much, everybody, for coming out and sharing your feelings and sharing this night with us. Thank you.
There we go.
I'm pretty sure that
Maybe? Sort of? Kind of? Where'd you get your camera? Wait. Yeah. Oh! I'll light my hair on fire. Oh, candle. No, my hair. Can I keep this one? Yeah. Go ahead, take it. Try another one?
Chris, hold this.
Yeah, I did see that.
I've never seen these in real life.
They're very interesting.
before.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah, she actually has already written a movie.
Oh, really?
She's only in 8th grade.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
she really is.
Oh my god.
I love you. She wants to rival the Disney studios. That's her goal.
Well, hopefully I'll see her around this school next year.
If I like throw it.
That's